And yeah, so once again, hi everyone. So I want to welcome every one of us here to this discussion. And like we put in the notice and the promotion, this is going to be driven by questions from our attendees. So any questions that you have, if possible, you could put them in the chat box or just signal by maybe raising your hand and letting us know, oh, I have a question. The questions will shape how we're going to run this discussion. Yeah, we have some questions already that have been here, but more more information will be given about that. So let me just welcome you and say you're welcome and do a short introduction of the IBA UK and the student and early career. So permit me to share my screen for a moment. Thank you. Okay. All right, so welcome everyone. So this is ask us anything whatsoever about getting started in business analysis. So it's going to be a panel discussion. There are professionals here who are going to be giving answers to your questions. I have Christina Tan. She's going to introduce herself just shortly. I have Joe Francis and I have Adriana Silva. Um, So this is IBA UK. IBA UK chapter is run by BAs and for BAs. So you're welcome to join us. Yeah, so IBA members are, we have about 1,400 plus IBA UK members. And we have 40% of the IBA UK chapter who are members from different corporate organizations, more than 25 organizations. And as IBA UK, we have five main branches. We have five main branches. We have the Scotland, we have the North, the Southwest, and Wales, the Midlands, and London. So you are welcome to join any of those branches that is the closest to you and be part of the community there. And also, all this is possible. IBA UK is possible due to the dedicated team of approximately 50 volunteers. I'm sure we must be more than that because people are joining day by day. Um, so IBA UK, like we said, is run by the BAs and for BAs. So we partner with so many organizations. We support annual conferences. We are co-founder of IRM Business Analysis Conference, BA Life Associate. They just had their annual conference last month, the virtual conference, and we're also BA Excellence Partner. We have some virtual offerings such as webinars, one of which we are doing today, mentoring scheme. We have weekly brown bag sessions, which is being modified to give you even a much better offering. We have BA book club with book authors. We have had Adam Laura Bradenburg as one of our authors that we have invited. So we are a community. We are community centric. We love community. We hold seminars, workshops, socials, volunteers and community events. And of course, as IBA, there is corporate membership. And here you can raise the profile of your organization. We help your BAs develop great connections in the community. We support your BAs to develop their skills and knowledge. So if you are part of an organization here, you can recommend partnership with the IBA. You are very much welcome to do that. Yeah, we have sponsors, partners, and allies. We have conferences, just like the IIM UK that I've said. We support their conferences, we support the BA Live conferences. Then we have education providers who are our partners. We believe in what they do, like Adaptive US, which is obsessed with your success, IBA Premier Education Partner, and Watermark Learning Partner. So if you want to register for any of our courses, certifications, you can go to any of these providers and we will give you can get discounts if you're an IBA member. All right, so the IBA member benefit, there are a lot of benefit for you to be a member if you're a member. We have BA resources that has a library with over 11,000 titles. And trust me, this is always being modified and improved, as new tools are getting out. We have competency assessment and development tools. We have the Babok guide. As an IBA member, you have an exclusive access to the soft copy of the Babok guide, which is the BA Bible. We have the IIBA's Knowledge Hub. We have IIBA Webinar Archives. Then also as a member, just like I mentioned earlier, we have discount for your exams fee. If you register for a certification, you have discount for the exam fee, conference ticket, and so many more. Then another important reason why members have benefit. We have the networking and community. And as BAs, a community is part of what we do. So we have global network of over 120 chapters as IBA across 40 countries and volunteer opportunities to contribute with content or participate in speaking engagements, career center and job board, member and certification badges. Yeah, so for IBA UK chapter, you can join us on any of our social media platforms like the Instagram, where we publish our monthly list of upcoming events, IBA UK chapter news, event reports, and also on our LinkedIn. If you are not so big on Instagram, I'm sure LinkedIn is a thing for almost everyone here. Join us on LinkedIn for upcoming events, chapter news, other chapters, events, and BA community news, event reports, and many more. Then we have our YouTube channel. For example, this webinar will be recorded and uploaded onto our YouTube page, so you can always revisit to check what we have done. We have past IBA UK webinars recording bite-sized learning video, which are coming pretty soon. All right, so this is Students and Early Careers Initiative, and it's a brand new initiative of the IBA UK that has been inaugurated or established mainly to build a dynamic and accessible ecosystem where emerging business analysts thrive. They are empowered by practical insights, peer-led support, and meaningful exposure to the profession. We envision a future where every student and early career starter can confidently navigate their journey into business analysis. And that is one of the things we are doing today. So we want to empower and connect emerging business analysts by championing the IBA's offering across academic institutions, early career networks, and tech communities. So we want you to be part of this community, and this is how we support you. We want you to be a part of an active community on Mighty Networks. We want you to stay engaged through weekly articles and discussions and idea sharings. We want you to learn in a space that is designed just for you, students, graduates, early career professionals, and career switchers. Then access webinars and in-person events on relevant topics. So just stay connected with us, be part of the community on Mighty Network, and we'll be happy to support your journey. So welcome to today's webinar. I'll stop sharing from here and give room for my panelists to introduce themselves shortly. So my name is Abosede Babatunde, sorry. I am the Student and Early Careers Initiative co-lead. Thank you. All right, so that was it. Christina, I have you first on my screen.
Hello.
If you want to introduce yourself to our audience here. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Great to have you here, everyone. Thank you for taking the time out of this sunny evening, shall we say. I'm Christina Tan. I'm the chapter president of IIBA UK. I've also been a business analyst for over 10 years. Actually started my career in corporate finance, so I've kind of career transitioned along the way. I experienced a kind of navigating some challenges with that transition. So anything I could do to help, I'll be very happy to share my experience. I've also managed a business analysis and architecture team at Capita before, and currently I'm the transformation consultant at Atkins Realis.
Thank you very much. There, Joe Francis. I have you
Thank
next.
you. Lovely. My name is Jo Francis. I'm a principal business analyst working at a tech company called Made Tech, and we deliver services to public sector government. I've been a business analyst for almost 20 years, and I applied for my first job when I was just 15. So I went through an apprenticeship and fell into business analysis really quickly, and I've never really left it other than to do a bit of service design here and there. So yeah, career business analyst, and I love it.
That's so interesting. I'm sure people will ask you questions in that line. All right. So, Adriana, I have you next.
Oh,
Mhm.
thank you. Well, I'm Adriana Silva. With IIBA, I'm the Community Director for London, the Southeast. And so you might see me involved in in-person events or online events in IIBA UK. And on my day-to-day, I'm a senior consultant business analyst with Hard Consulting. So I became a business analyst later in life. It was my third career change. So yes, it's been let's put it this way, I don't regret it. I find myself in I consider a very uh, good place to be after having a few changes in life. So everyday learning.
Thank you very much, Adriana. So now, the floor is set. Come up with your questions. Um, if you don't want if you don't want to speak or talk into the mic, you can drop your questions in the chat box and be sure that they will be read out. But we would love interaction. Let's talk, let's engage, let's hear your sweet voices, and it will be much appreciated. So let's set the ball rolling. Um, Questions. Yep. Or if we are still trying to gather our questions together, I have some questions that some people have asked already here. And if you don't mind, if you want me to start with that, can I get one high or just
So Abacade,
okay?
so there is someone who has
Okay.
go first on the chat here.
Oh,
Let's read it
okay.
out for convenience, I suppose. So I'm a first year business
Oh,
management with IT student at Salford. I've just booked my Microsoft PL 300 Power BI data analyst exam, planning to add the SQL certification after. For someone aiming to break into business analysis in IT, is the Microsoft data stack the right foundation, or should I be looking at IBA certifications like ECBA alongside for both? I think this question might be somewhat similar to one already on your list, so I guess we
yes.
can cover both of them off.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. So I'll just go into the questions here. Yeah, very similar. Um, Sorry. Okay. Um, All right, yeah. So there we go. So the question, my first question here is really similar. It says, what is the importance of a proficiency in Excel, SQL, Power BI, APIs, and other data tools for achieving success as a business analyst? So I think that is in line with the person's question. So is it important for this person to learn Excel, SQL, Power BI, APIs, and other data tools before they can achieve success as a business analyst?
Can I have a go at that?
Yes, please.
My take, for example, especially because after I became a business analyst, and one of the skills that I had to build up once I started being a business analyst, it was the data analytics. And most of these tools, they are about data analysis. So what I would say is that as long as you understand the data, the data analysis life cycle or the data life cycle, it becomes much easier to pick up new tools because I would expect that the tools will continue to evolve. Today we have the tools that were mentioned, Power BI, we have SQL, there are many things that we can do in Python, but the steps you perform in the data analytics process, they are the same. It's just adjusting to that tool. So as long as you understand how the data analytics happens, it becomes easier to pick up new tools. It was something that I had to learn. And I try to be these days, for example, it's the same thing that you achieve with Excel in a different way, but it's exactly the same thing you do with the data. So I tend to be very pragmatic on my approach, and I take an agile approach to my learning, just enough. because there is an amount of tools and an amount of things being used, and depending on the assignment or the employment, the contract or where you are working, a set of tools will be available to you. So be sure to understand why you use these tools for and what exactly you are trying to achieve. And at this day and age, I'm very satisfied to learn what I need to know right now, because knowledge and tools, they evolve at an extremely accelerated pace. And I find it overwhelming to think of all the things that I should learn. But for example, if you think about analyzing data, how do you analyze data? What are the steps? Then it's much easier to see how those steps are performed across a range of tools that we have at our that are available to us, or that we might be required to use by a specific company or business we work with. So, well, that's what that are my first impression, my initial thoughts on this.
Mm.
Okay. Does that answer the person's question? I believe so. Did it? And
Um,
okay.
Sorry, can I ask a question?
Yes, please go
Sure.
ahead.
Okay. I am training pilot. I want to become business analyst, but I find it very difficult to find a job which accept, because people ask for experience, and I was thinking of doing BCS, but I'm not sure which one is better.
Yeah.
What would you say, in your opinion?
Well, I think we'll take an objective view to this. It's an IIBA event. We of course have our BA certifications. BCS has their own. Yeah. By the way, yeah, I think Joe, you can also manage a team. So feel free to jump in with your honest thoughts there.
Yeah. So my thoughts are, I think there are benefits to both. So BCS is obviously a British qualification. They've got all the books. I've done the BCS qualifications and I'm doing the advanced one now. But I think the IIBA offering is different in terms of its global community. It's much bigger than BCS, and you've got networking opportunities. And there's also like slightly different qualifications in that. So the modules are a bit more kind of niche if you have interest in other spaces. So I think it depends on your goals, and I don't think roles tend to specify which qualification you need anyway. That they tend to be at the same level, but
from observation, it's BCS or equivalent, but then I suppose that kind of gets reverse IBO equivalent depending on where you are in the world. I don't know if that's the observation as well, Joe, but yeah. But I suppose that the talk content and the focus is slightly different. And feel free to chip in here as well. I think and again, I look at it from a completely objective view. So when I was at a previous organization, I saw the strength of BCS when it comes to their modular content. Sort of process engineering and sort of and requirements management, etc. So I think if it's broken down to something really specific for people to hone specific skills and get relevant experience at the same time, I do genuinely feel that sometimes could be the best for the organization.
Yes.
However, I suppose from a holistic perspective, if someone is looking to step into consultancy roles, you might want to think about how you want to see where business analysis sits in larger kind of complex initiatives or programs. If you want to have that more holistic thinking, I tend to find that IB and the certifications will help you get into that mindset more. So I think there are strengths to both.
Yeah. Although interestingly, right, I was talking to someone who was in the Australian chapter the other day, and they were saying that jobs there ask for IIBA qualifications and not BCS. So if you have a BCS qualification and you move to Australia, you might just have to retrain and do IIBA as well, or wing it and hope for the best. But I think it depends entirely on what you're interested in.
Yeah, true. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. So, Hali, I see that you have some other questions here. Do you want me to read them out, or would you like to ask them?
I think I just want to make a point.
Okay.
The problem is that, this is a professional qualification, I see, right? Now, for someone that wants to transition and do a squiggly career from one industry to another industry, it is almost very overwhelming that they almost need to get the experience first, in my opinion, to then realize, okay, this is a good certification. So do you think it's better maybe to do the course first and then go seek the experience, or do it the other way around, or maybe do both? I don't know. I'm just trying to understand.
Well, again, because I transitioned into business analysis in my third career change, how that happens with me. At the time I came across business analysis, I didn't even knew that I didn't know that this existed as a career path. Uh, at the time I was working in a large organization in the HR and payroll department, and they wanted to do a process review of all the processes there. And I put my hand up to take part in this project. So my transition was very much organic. But perhaps that suits me because I'm a very hands-on person. I love learning by doing. But once I'm learning by doing, and I knew that this is a proper career path, that there is this thing called business analysis, which is a proper role, profession. Then on the other side, I always valued professional communities. I always valued professional development. So the beginning was very much hands-on. And I would, for example, I have suggested that to other people. If you see opportunities, if they call people to take part in projects, to do this or that, that is experience you can demonstrate later. So I would encourage people to take these opportunities if this happen. But once I started, then for example, one that I have already completed was the BCF path, because it was the one that was at the time sponsored and required by my employer. And I'm preparing for the IIBA qualification, similar as well. So I find it very important that we are able to demonstrate in an examination what we are able to do. Because ultimately, I'm just trying to remember something that I heard from a colleague in the panel on another talk. The certification might be a distinction that your CV will present to be selected for an interview. But what is going to get you from the interview forward is your ability to demonstrate that you are either able to do the job or you are able to transfer previous skills and act in that role that you are applying for. So the certification definitely is really good. But in my case, the experience came first. And then I try to validate my experience by demonstrating through a certification. For me, that's very important. And that may open doors for when you say, I have a CBAP with IIBA UK, people know, employers, they would know exactly at which level you are operating, how much experience you have, because there is a minimum experience you have to demonstrate the number of hours and everything. So when you present that certification, that already tells a lot about you. But the experience is sometimes you might end up having some experience first, and then you are able to validate that.
Thank you.
I don't know. I don't know if my path would be the standard, but that's how it happened with me.
Yeah, I was exactly the same. I don't think I got my formal qualifications until a few years ago because I was too busy being a business analyst. So you just kind of fall into it and end up doing the role, and then you think, well, actually, I should probably get a qualification to back this up. But yeah, you don't have to worry too much. But it is nice to have that formal, grounding and certification behind what you're actually doing. So yeah, completely agree. I was exactly the same. So.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I have some other questions here. And this one says, okay, so this one says, how are business analysts adapting to AI? How are business analysts adapting to AI? It's the word of AI and data, AI, their AI. So how are business analysts adapting to AI?
Well, how much time we have? But I think everyone as individuals are probably dabbling some way or another, sort of ChatGPT with co-pilots, and also it depends on the organizations where you work. So what levels of kind of tooling have they opted for? To what extent have people been using it? I say on the whole, from observation, through numerous conversations and from my own experience, people are adapting quite well to AI. They've definitely started looking to some efficiency and productivity gains to the extent where standard documentation could be instantly updated once the AI tool has been provided the right context, the relevant prompts, and to a high degree, it has worked relatively well. Which means that the focus and of the business analysts shifts towards some more strategic minded sort of initiatives, and they get to help become that decision-making intelligence engine, and not I suppose instead of doing, lifting all the heavy work that now AI can do, now that's kind of moved on a little bit, so that kind of shift towards strategic support. Now I see very much, within that gift and remit of BAs. So I suppose that's been a great thing, but it's also really important to kind of realize that, well, because AI is looking to, can potentially automate a lot of these artifacts, it becomes even more important for BAs to have a very strong command to critically assess what's coming out the other end and make sure it's accurate, and to be able to help, leaders make meaningful and well-informed decisions, to make sure that whatever we're doing, it's, we're looking from is this a data and information sufficient? We have to use our critical thinking more. We have to challenge more, as well as being even more competent in our BA skill sets than ever before.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, so a question says, which business units do BAs typically report to? Which business units do BAs typically report to? Yeah.
I find that I'm trying to the initial thing that comes to my head is any business functions, really. Well, I have been part of professions, teams of BAs. And usually, for example, we report in the profession and we are deployed in projects. So we work in a matrix arrangement. So you have your career and your development being managed by your profession, and you report in the usual project structure. You could be working with delivery managers, project managers, or any other types of professionals in this area, with developers, with the SMEs, the subject matter experts, and so on. And people in the business as well, all types of roles in operations or wherever you are working. So, or you could be part of specific functions. For example, you could be part of a structure of a development team or a squad, for example. You could be working with developers, you could be working with a testing team, you could be working at the more level of the technical business analysis, let's put this way. But from my experience, I have reported to a variety of teams. What colleagues can say about that?
I completely agree. Completely agree. I think BAs can report anywhere. And I think so long as you've got your community of practice for BAs as your home, like your safe space where you can share and like do the best practice stuff and make sure you've got everything lined up for the organization, I think it doesn't really matter where the BA sits, to be honest. I think there are different BAs for different projects and for different scenarios. So I don't think we could possibly say that a BA sits with this department typically, because it's totally different for every organization. But
Right.
so yeah, completely feel the same. Yeah.
Yeah. For example, in my organization, BAs report.
Oh, did we lose Abazede?
I think so.
I think we lost her, didn't we? Oh, we lost you, Abazede. We didn't hear what you said.
Oh, apologies. Is
Could you
that my
please repeat?
internet? Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. So I just added to what you people said. I said, like, in my organization, business analysts report to the business development team leader, and that is headed by the project manager. So it all depends on your organization and the structure, the kind of project that you work on in the organization. Okay,
And
so
the good thing,
yeah,
sorry, the good thing about us here at IIBA UK, for example, we are talking about community of professional communities and groups to belong. I know of a few people they are the only BA in the organization, and sometimes they say, "Oh, that can feel quite lonely." But
yeah.
even if you are the only BA reporting to any structures in the organization, you can still reach out to these communities, professional communities like IIBA UK, and you don't need to feel alone. You can have like-minded people and professionals to exchange and grow together. Sorry if I
yeah,
cut it
I
someone.
think it's an opportunity as well. If you're the only BA in an organization, that's how I started out. There were like 5,000 people in the org, and I was the only BA. And you can actually, I mean, it's tricky to learn because you don't really have any guidance around you, but there are communities you can go to, and you can start to build something up from scratch that actually meets the needs of the organization. And you're selling the role of the BA to the organization. So actually it can be like quite a positive place to be, as long as you find your community outside of the organization, because
Yeah.
if there are no other BAs, then there isn't really best practice. You've got to make it up with the right support.
Okay,
So
thank you very much. So, what KPIs are commonly used to measure success in a BA role? What KPIs?
Well, can I, the first thing, in the BA role, we have the business to achieve their KPIs. So the KPIs I usually work with, they are the KPIs of the business and of the project I'm working with. In terms of the profession, usually we are assessed via our skills, behaviors, and any other, let's put this way, any other standards in the organization for the role. But in terms of the KPIs, usually they are associated with the job I'm doing. The KPIs belong to the business, to the task at hand, to the objective we aim to achieve. Did I get it? Have I completely gone off topic? How did I do?
No, I agree. So I'm reflecting back on, as you were speaking, Adriana, of the my performance objectives as a BA, and actually all of them are more qualitative in nature, and in fact more tied to outcomes. So if my sole role was to help sort of document understand the as is and to be processes and being able to communicate that effectively, the kind of performance objective I get is really largely based on feedback from my client or stakeholders. So it's mostly kind of feedback related to that specific objective that you or your manager set yourself during a given period. So yeah, I think you're right. So KPIs, I come across that so not very frequently as if you're talking purely from a business analysis individual perspective. But feel free to share your other thoughts if you have any. I've said, Joe.
Yeah, sure. Sure. I think you've mentioned, BA, it depends for me, like for most of the project that I've been part of, your KPIs are what were the business objectives? Why was the project set out in the first instance, and that is how you measure success. What was the problem that we're trying to solve? Did we solve the problem? And that is how you measure your success. That, oh, okay. Or if you develop, I participated on a project of software migration, and and along the line, it was so good that okay, the software was built and developed and it was looking good. At the testing phase, there was nothing. So at the rollout, the first phase of the rollout, that was when we discovered some bugs. But it was at a point it was so heartbreaking, like this thing was successful in the initial phase, and what is happening and all that. And we had to go back to the drawing board. And so KPIs for business analysts mainly is, did it achieve, was a problem solved at the end of the day? What was the project trying to resolve? What were you trying to achieve as a business? Did it help the business? So mainly, yeah. Okay, so I have some other questions here. It says, what are necessary career paddings to stay relevant as a business analyst, and the influence of AI in business analysis? I think these are 3-in-1 questions. What are necessary career paddings to stay relevant? That's one, as a business analyst. 2, what is the influence of AI in business analysis? And the third one says, I would appreciate a career roadmap of a business analyst. It's like this person peeped into the previous questions by some of our attendees. They're really relevant. Okay, so let's give them a go. The questions. So what should a business analyst do to remain relevant, to stay relevant?
I think that understanding how the the profession is being impacted by the developments. If you look at the PESO framework, the political, legal, technological, and so on, we need to have an idea of how those elements they are impacting. Any changes on those elements can impact on our career and our ability to do our jobs, and try to mitigate any impacts that we experience to stay. That's how we stay relevant. And a part of the continuing learning or continuing development is a part of that, isn't it? Because the tools that we apply, they are not only to do the job, but we can carry out the PESO analysis, and we can make our SWOT analysis and see exactly how we can use those changes in the external environment. Or maybe even if you are going through personal circumstances, you can put that in your SWOT analysis and see how you deal with them to make sure that, and what you can put in place to ensure that we stay relevant. That's what I would say in terms of the influence of AI in business analysis. Just, I know that we talked about that before, but something that has been on the back of my head all the time. I don't dismiss the importance and the relevance of AI, but I know that I will sound like a dinosaur probably now, but I have been around for at least 3 decades, longer than 3 decades in the workplace. And if you consider that my first training to get a job was to learn to use a typewriter, I have already seen innumerous loads of technological changes in my path. And to me, as long as you know what you are doing, and what your role is, AI is the servant, AI is the tool to help you achieve what you have to achieve. But if you don't know what a business analyst do, and you don't know how to practice business analysis, AI is not going to make you a business analyst. And again, I will quote other people that I have heard. The other day in LinkedIn, one of the posts, they were repeating that. AI is not going to replace the business analyst, because I think Christina mentioned earlier in this talk that that human element of being able to manage the strategic level in the conversations and the stakeholder, that is not going away, and it will become more necessary than ever. But so AI is not going to replace the business analyst, but for example, in an interview, depending on the projects and the job you have to do, if you are not familiar with AI, if you are not able to resolve problems utilizing AI, another candidate with that knowledge might take your place in that job.
Oh, no.
That's what I could mention.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. I
Okay,
think,
so yeah. Oh, all right.
sorry,
Go.
I'm just going to quickly come in. I
Right.
think we as business analysts need to control the tool. The tool doesn't control us. So I think we just need to remember that actually businesses are going to need help with how they manage and navigate their pathway through using AI. And also us as business analysts need to work out which elements of our roles can we automate and use AI tools to free us up to do some of the strategic work, the things that we're actually really good at, like providing that clarity, being that kind of safe, critical friend for our clients and people that we work with. Actually, we need to have a think about where does the BA role sit in that, in terms of what's the task that we're being given and what things do we want to kind of hand off, that, the boring bits sometimes that we don't necessarily have the time for. So I think there's all of that to consider as well.
I think it's very interesting. As a pilot, we have autopilot, and we rely on autopilot. But a lot of passengers say, autopilot, you're not really flying the plane. But no, we still have to be in charge of the plane and the souls on the plane. And I think just what Franz said, that it is a human element that needs to be in charge, and it is the duty of the human to oversee everything, right? So people are scared of losing jobs, I think, but the business analysis will always be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, so the last part of the question says, what is the career roadmap of a business analyst? And that is one of my questions there. Let me read that question out here just to buttress your question. It says, what are the growth pathways or career progression structure of business analysts? And the person said, or will the person just remain a business analyst? All right, so career roadmap.
I think
think
it
Joe,
also will it will vary depending on the organization and the structures you belong to, isn't it? So there are
Mhm.
different ways to be being a business analyst. But if you happen to fall in a big organization with a well-structured BA team, you probably would start as a junior BA when you are taking an apprenticeship or an internship and you are learning, certifying. And then after you complete your junior years, you would progress to a business analyst with some time and experience, and depending on your ability to function with minimal supervision, you would progress to a senior BA, for example, which might involve managing other staff or junior team members, and then progressing to after that, it would be a lead business analyst. We would coordinate or lead a business analysis and initiative, and ultimately would have a principal business analyst coordinating the whole profession across the organization. But not always will have that in place. So it would depend on how you want to work. For example, if you work as on a gig basis, taking contracts, you would be a consultant business analyst, and that you would be responsible for managing all aspects related to delivering your job and progressing in your professional ability, let's put this way, your development. So it depends very much on where you are. But usually what I have seen, junior BA, senior BA, lead BA, principal business analyst. Does that correlate with what colleagues have seen?
oh yeah, absolutely. And I think thank you very much, Adriana. Briefly, I know we are almost running out of time, and I would want us to answer all the questions here, if possible. Joe Francis, do you have anything to say on that career pathway? I think it would be interesting to also hear from you.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting one because so I worked at a company that did BA apprenticeships for a little while, and what we found was that the majority of people coming through, we had some school leavers, but the majority of people that were coming into that profession had done other professions first. So they'd been, working in financial roles, or they'd worked in design roles, or they were user researchers that wanted to transition into that path. There were all sorts of different ranges because there are so many transferable skills for a business analyst role. Like we do so much and we're problem solving and yeah, I think there are no rules for moving into a BA role. I think if you're a problem solver, you enjoy working with lots of different people, getting buy-in, solving those problems, moving things forward, delivering them. I don't think it really matters where you come from, as long as you're keen to kind of learn and adapt to whatever organization you're working in.
Okay, thank you very much. All right. So I'm seeing Christina raising their hand. Oh, all
Yeah,
right, please, you can speak.
it's me, Shweta. I don't know why the name is showing Christina. I'm exactly, I don't have any idea about this, but my name is Shweta. Let me brief about me first. So I am also trying to transitioning my career to BA, and I come from the development background, right? So I am 5 years experience in development, now transitioning my career into the BA field. But the problem is like I have done some certification through BCS as well, but and I tried to talk some community member from IIBA and some other person who are in the BA, and try to know like how I can position myself into the UK market. Some of them says that I should target the mid-level BA roles because I'm already experienced technically, I do have some depth. But some of them says that I should target the junior BA roles, right? But whenever I'm trying to position for the junior BA role, they reject my profile by saying that the recent graduate people are more aligned to those profile because I'm already having some experience, so I should go for the mid-level role. And if I'm going for the mid-level roles, they are asking for some experience in the BA field itself, right? So what's the right strategy for that? Because I'm finding it very difficult to get a job in the BA field. And some of them says, sorry, I'm just speaking so long, but the last thing, some of them says that you should transition in within your organization, but I don't have that option because I already left my job. So I need to start from scratch.
Yeah, thank you. That does sound quite frustrating to be kind of bouncing across, two lanes and in terms of the levels of business analysis, levels there. feel free to jump in. But I don't know, I think it may ultimately depend on the role you're targeting itself, Shweta. So if so I guess the kind of question to mind when I transitioned, how I transitioned, I leveraged my skill sets within accountancy and my knowledge of finance systems, and I edged my way into finance ERP implementation projects. That's how I edged into this whole game. And I do sort of wonder, given your developer background, if you are targeting certain roles that are things like systems implementation or migration type projects, data heavy or quite technical, maybe too overly technical for most generic BAs. Perhaps you could then consider yourself into more kind of intermediate sort of BA role, like a mid-level role, as you mentioned. However, if you're looking at more kind of generic business analyst role and a company that allows you genuine sort of pathway growth progression opportunities, it could sometimes, it might be worth considering if the opportunity is there to go for a more kind of junior role, but give yourself that room and opportunity to have mentorship, management and community to help you kind of grow your broader BA skills. So I think it may depend on the circumstances, that there might not be a one size fits all, but think about where you're able to kind of differentiate yourself from other applicants. But if you're a developer, one key area that stands out to me is probably the really techie projects, and the BA roles in that market. Even if it's a contracting one, it might give you that foot through the door.
Yeah, so I'm basically targeting the technical business analyst or system analyst role, especially, and I'm targeting for those things. And one more thing which I feel really strange, that everything is evolving around the AI itself. But at the same time, when we are building our resume using AI, they reject it, saying that your resume is AI generated. You need to generate it by your own. Like, why this kind of thing is exist in the market? Because should we focus on really building on our resume for every job, or should we focus on upskill ourselves, for the BA role or for some other kind of thing? Because so many agencies selling their course saying that you need to work on, resume building or LinkedIn building and kind of things. So it finds me really strange, like how we can find a way to applying a job or to upskilling ourselves and to target a great job.
Yeah, I think one thing to be aware of for any sort of applicants at the moment, some organizations, not all, but most organizations do go put CVs through ATS, application tracking system, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the kind of tool they use to detect sort of AI generated CVs. And I'd probably say that it's probably kind of it's technically allowed to use AI to enhance CVs, but really try to personalize, contextualize it, and sort of tailor those to so that it stays true to how you want your CV to look. And I don't think at this point in time AI might help you get there faster, but definitely take another sort of manual review through your CV after it comes out the other end. But also I would also say, do tailor your CVs. I know this takes a lot of effort, but having secured a new role recently myself, it's almost night and day. Sort of me putting out a generic CV versus one that's tailored. I have at least 50% more interview requests and responses either way. So in my own experience, it does make a difference. And it might sound like maybe quite a lot of work, but I will probably say quality over quantity. Target the roles that you think you're truly a really good fit for. I rather to me, I'd probably rather focus that time tailoring the CV that stands out strong. And once you put it through and submit, you feel fairly confident about some sort of response back, as opposed to sending out a generic CV and hoping for the best. That's just from my own experience.
Yeah, I agree. Like we are, obviously we should tailor our CV as per the job description and kind of thing. My question here is if we are tailoring our CV like using AI, because it is not like we are copy pasting everything what AI is giving us, right? We are just filtering it out. We are just training our AI, like we are upskilling the AI as well. That you need to do, you need to give me some context or some description in this manner. If we feel satisfied, then only we just do keep it in our resume. But we cannot filter it out on the basis of what formatting or what like hyphens or kind of things it is giving. So why it is getting rejected by the ATS system in that case?
Yeah, you're right. It's very much kind of a buyer's market out there, to be honest, and yeah, which kind of gives employers that bit more kind of leverage space to accept or reject. And I suppose, yeah, I've personally not come across too many cases of an outright rejection myself. I'm not, yeah, so yeah, I think it could be certain formatting nuances that they might have identified from that's indicates that this person has used AI. But if it's happened a number of times in a given CV, in sort of throughout, you don't know what the business rules behind it all, so so it's slightly difficult for me to answer this properly. But yeah, definitely sort of try to sort of I would say humanize or remove those nuances if we know what it is, whether it's a hyphens or just the writing kind of style. I think one sort of handy tip, you haven't tried this yet, is maybe attach in that prompt of the AI something that you've written entirely yourself and ask the AI tool to mirror that kind of writing style. So maybe that might work, but yeah, that's all I can say at this point. Not sure if anyone wants to jump in.
Yeah.
I was going to say, introduce a few little spelling errors, PDF it so they can't as easily search on it. And I'd say, so where I've got roles that I wouldn't otherwise have been qualified for, and I've actually got to interview, it's usually because if you go above and beyond and get like a bit creative with the packs, look at the job description, send a bit of like a tailored thing on top of your CV. Sometimes it's just that bit more than the other candidates that even if you're not the perfect candidate for it, you usually get through to interview just because you've done something a bit extra that stood out. So I think just get a bit creative with it and obviously highlight the skills that you've done within your current role that are BA skills, even if you don't have that job title of BA, because if those skills stand out, some employers and some industries won't be too precious about the job titles. They'll look at your experience rather than job titles. So I think you just maybe play around, see what you can do with different industries and get a bit creative with the application process. But it's tough. It is tough unless you go for a kind of lower level role to get in.
Yeah, I know. But thank you for your insights. I'll use those.
All right. Thank you very much. Shruti, did I get the name correctly? Shruti,
Yeah,
right?
it's like that. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I have another one here. Maybe it might be the last one if time permits, or says for a first year student with no experience, no work experience yet, what does IIBA student membership actually unlock from day one? And what is the realistic path from joining to getting picked up for a branch volunteer role? Yeah.
I pick that one up. So yeah, the IIBA student membership pack unlocks a lot of resources. So as Abu Sede mentioned at the very start with the introductions, you automatically get a very vast sort of digital library of the sort of books, ebooks. You get the BA body of knowledge, and you also get discounts on certifications if you're looking to start the ECBA, for example, the kind of like starter certification. You get discounts on that. And so the realistic path in getting picked up for a branch volunteer role, I have good news. You don't have to be a really experienced BA or even a sort of a existing BA to be a branch volunteer. I think all you need to bring with you is enthusiasm, commitment, and also an open mind to kind of learning from people. So you'll be sort of amongst the company of mostly other business analysts who you might be able to hopefully learn from and sort of forge a kind of that professional collaboration as you kind of, if they can maybe help you navigate your career journey as well. So yeah, there is no set path. So if you go to our website, I'll send a link on shortly. But we do have a sort of volunteering website where you can write to us, state your motivation for joining. And we'll usually pick up quickly and sort of get you introduced and get you started. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. So, it says, what does a strong first BA portfolio look like for someone without client work yet, like PL 300 capstones, side projects, or volunteer BA work? What does a strong first BA portfolio looks like? And that's also very related to the question I have here. Says, I'm having difficulty with visibility on LinkedIn and creating portfolios. What advice will you give to help me? So I think we can take those two questions together. It's about portfolio. So what does a strong first BA portfolio look like? Okay.
Okay, no, well, what I would say is, well, that's not, I have, it's not my example, but it's something I heard from a younger professional, someone who started as a business analyst just after they finished their career. I heard last year, when she was preparing to apply for jobs, she said she used transferable skills for her portfolio from anything she had done in life. And she said and then she got an internship role at the time. What got her in the internship role were some skills that she had acquired while planning and doing some traveling after she finished studies. It was in her personal time. She was traveling for her own joy or personal development. And the skills she applied in planning and doing that job, that trip, is what got her in the role. She could use that personal experience for that. So I would say that any experience you are able to translate and find an equivalent in the business analysis in those skills, behaviors, attitudes. You can I would recommend start logging into your portfolio to use at the appropriate time. Have that described in a star structure when you have a situation, a task, the action and the result you obtained. And that's what is going to help you demonstrate. But yes, I'm just telling what I heard from someone else, and I found very useful to hear that.
Yeah, thank you very much. So we need to be stopping here for now, and I really want to appreciate everyone. Thank you to our panelists, thank you to the attendees, thank you everybody for joining the session. If you have more questions, you are welcome to follow us on LinkedIn, join the community. The link has been sent there, and ask us further questions. You know, give us a shout on LinkedIn and say, yes, I have more questions for you. I'm sure every one of us will be happy and more than happy to receive your questions. And follow IIBA UK on LinkedIn if you have not done so yet, and be part of the students and early career professionals on Mighty Network. The link has been shared. So we'll be happy to have you. Thank you very much for joining. We hope to see you in our future events, and we are always happy to have you. Thank you very much, and have a lovely part of your evening. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.